Greetings, Earth Explorers. Welcome to X Squared Radio, where the past meets the future. I'm your host, Brooks Agnew. In here, the results are always positive. We explore the mysteries of the universe and of the Earth. Whether you are driving across the country tonight or listening on the web while you're working on your favorite project, you are about to learn more about who we are, why we are here, and what we may become than you thought possible. We might go a little past your imagination, but have no fear. You will be safely traveling with us. Keep your arms inside the vehicle, recline your chair, and look out the window as we launch X Squared Radio. Welcome to X Squared Radio, my friends. Good to be here Sunday, February 8th, in the not-so-frozen tundra of Idaho. The solar wind tonight is 358 kilometers per second. There are no sunspots. Again, maybe something on the other side of the sun knows what's going on here. Where is solar cycle 24? A slight coronal hole is sending a solar wind to Earth that should arrive on the 13th or 14th, maybe. There's a slight chance for an aurora, so keep your eyes open for that. Drivers, better buckle up or pay the price. More cash-strapped states want to give law enforcement officers the authority to pull over motorists just for not wearing their seatbelts. More than a dozen states that are considering making the switch to primary seatbelt enforcement laws need to do so before July to be eligible for millions in federal money. Congress adopted the Federal Incentive Program in the 2005 Federal Transportation Bill as a way to encourage states to adopt the primary law enforcement. The goal was to save lives, reduce insurance costs, and cut medical bills. The Traffic Safety Agency found that in 2007, 54% of passenger vehicle occupants killed in traffic accidents were not wearing seatbelts. You see, that is another statistic. That means that 46% of the people involved in traffic accidents dying were wearing seatbelts. Well, if you obey the traffic laws, it's now bad for the economy. It also gives open license to illegal search and seizure. Hope you have your papers in order. This is just a sign of larger things, Earth Explorers. Reporting from Washington, California's farms and vineyards could vanish by the end of the century, and its major cities could be in jeopardy if Americans do not act to slow the advance of global warming. Secretary of Energy Stephen Chu said Tuesday, "I don't think the American public has gripped in its gut what could happen," he said. "We're looking at a scenario where there's no more agriculture in California." And he added, "I don't actually see how they can keep their cities going either." A pair of recent studies raise similar warnings. One, published in January in the journal Science, raised the specter of worldwide crop shortages as temperatures rise. Another, penned by UC Berkeley researchers last year, estimated California has about $2.5 trillion in real estate assets, including agriculture, endangered by warming. Experienced observers report that Comet Lulin has brightened to naked-eye visibility from dark sky sites. It looks like a pale, fuzzy patch in the constellation Libra before dawn. Backyard telescopes pointed at the patch reveal a lovely green comet with a rapidly regrowing plasma tail. Also in the news, steam is pouring out of Mount Redoubt. An Alaskan volcano geologists fear could erupt any time. Scientists collected gas samples from the mountain while checking for signs of an eruption. I would call that the snatch and run. The Alaska Volcano Observatory says a steam plume was again spotted yesterday, coming from above the 7,000-foot level near a dome that formed after the last Redoubt eruption in 1990. We also have a call in to Charlotte Webb, who might be listening tonight. She might call in and give us an update. As you know, she is the sensitive that knows and has documented abilities for when earthquakes and volcanic activity is about to take place. Maybe we can get a prediction right down to the hour from her. Last week we were scheduled to have Walter Cruttenden on the program. He was unavoidably detained and had some technical problems, so we have rescheduled him for the 8th of March. So get your quad ruled paper out, because that program will explain things to you about the behavior of our solar system well beyond your imagination. This week, we have the author of The G.O.D. Experiments. He is a professor of psychology, medicine, neurology, psychiatry, and surgery at the University of Arizona. Prepare yourself for scientific proof. Welcome back to X Squared Radio, Dr. Gary Schwartz. How are you?
Very good, thank you. And how are you?
I'm doing really well. The year has just started out, like a rocket ship. We're really going to town on this new biodiesel plant here in Idaho. We finished the one in Washington, and it's up and running. And gosh, it's making fantastic biodiesel, and hopefully we're headed toward lowering global warming gases with that plant right now.
Well, I'll vote for that, and I suspect billions of other people will vote for that too.
I hope so. One thing we're excited about is the federal government has kind of gotten behind it now, and there are several federal loan guarantees and grant programs out there. So if you're in the field of renewable energy, get your word processors ready. Some of these applications can be pretty hairy. Anyway, tonight we're going to talk about your book, The G.O.D. Experiments, How Science is Discovering God in Everything, including us. I so enjoyed our last interview, I think it was in December, on the afterlife experiments. That was amazing.
Well, I enjoyed it too. As we discussed, it's not every day that I speak with someone who is as knowledgeable, thoughtful, critical, and open as you are, and also has a program where you could actually get into some of this conversation in depth. So for me, it was refreshing, to say the least.
Well, that's good. That's one of the things I like about this format is we have 3 hours, which goes by in about 20 minutes, but I move all the commercials to the top of the hour, so we can literally speak for almost an hour straight, and then we can get into depth on things. So before we get too far into this, I want to ask you a question. I'm sure Earth explorers everywhere are sitting on the edge of their seats waiting for this. So let's get started. Tell us about the experiment with Chris Robinson.
Boy. Okay. That was, I would have to say, a life-transforming experiment. And it's worth our reviewing in some depth and also playfully. It started, by the way, quite unexpected to me, meaning that literally, seemingly out of the blue, I received a phone call from England, from a gentleman who I had never heard of, who was calling me, claiming to be, quote, the dream detective. That's what the label he had received in England. This was a gentleman, Christopher Robinson, who claimed that he was able to see the future in his dreams. In particular, the future that related to terrorist activity, catastrophes, and other such events. And his story of how this happened was remarkable enough. But moreover, he was claiming that he was calling me because he felt that there was a desperate need for science to verify what he was doing, and he was led through multiple sources to call me. Now, here's what his claim was. He claimed that he had been an undercover agent for Scotland Yard and British intelligence, and that he had always been intuitive, but had not taken it seriously until he had a near-death experience where he almost died, and he had some of the classic